centre stage here at the International Stadium at Rotorua is the Mokaya Tahaya Cultural Group. And I think we're going to be entertained by the Maori haka. In fact, the Australians, I don't know that they have been made aware of the ceremony that is about to take place. Referee Ray Tennant doesn't appear to have knowledge of it, although he's put the hands back in the pocket. And now for the Maori haka. Sam Stewart is going to lead the team, and behind them 100 members of that cultural group.
About to get underway in the line red.
Interesting to note the Australians during the Kiwis doing the haka. They had their backs turned on the display, and Lewis was laying down the rules, laying down the laws to his teammates. A shake of the hands between McGahn and Lewis, the toss of the coin, and it's going to be New Zealand to kick off, and Australia running from right to left. The sun will be in the eyes of the Australians during the first half. It does tend to get away to the bottom left-hand corner, the sun here at the International Stadium. So 26-6 the scoreline down at Christchurch last Sunday. New Zealand out to try and atone, trying to keep it level. The grubber kick to start off, and it's Bradley Clyde, Jack Gibson's man of the match from last Sunday, coming up with the football. Three Kiwis coming in to deal it out to Clyde. That's Backo. And Australia back on the 22-metre line as the penalty goes to them. The Kiwis inside the 5. So the first penalty of the match going to Australia in the first minute of the game, and their skipper Wally Lewis taking the touch finder and crossing the line about 8 metres on his side of the halfway. Young Kerrod Walters takes the tap, and Steve Roach goes up and meets them, gets under a swinging arm. Brendan Tudor, of course, is going to have a lot of eyes on him in the early moments of this game. This is Backo who plays the ball. We've just come across the halfway mark. Sirinen hits it up strongly. The New Zealanders converge on Sirinen. He caused them many headaches last Sunday. Tudor was one tackler, Todd was the other. Lewis puts in a low trajectory kick. It's a nice kick too, finding touch only about 15 metres away from the New Zealand line. Early seconds of the second 4X test, and the scrum to pack. It'll be a New Zealand feed, New Zealand loose head. Sun shining, just a few clouds in the sky. A fairly soft surface as it comes away to Cooper. Coming in from the wing as one of the new boys, Mercer, who played for Bradford Northern a couple of winters back. Taking it up was Tudor, but there's a penalty. So there was no confrontation between Tudor the first time he was asked to take the leather up, and a few, I would think, eager beaver Australian forwards. And Ray Tennant saved Tudor any embarrassment by blowing the whistle and giving a penalty against Australia inside the 5. Williams takes the kick for touch. It's a monster of a kick going way over to the back of the main grandstand, and here's the tap, and they put on a rehearsed play, but Mercer, who came up with the football, he looked to his outside and there was nobody there, so something went terribly wrong. Taking it up now is Goulding wearing jumper number 10, Newcastle Knight, playing it back to Mann, the dummy half, the replacement hooker. This is Brent Todd. Mann, the hooker, incidentally, is the son of Don Mann, who played for New Zealand as an international back in '71. Cooper took a little look and he lost it, and a penalty goes to Australia. A penalty to Australia. I think he's ruled that there was some offside play there by the Kiwis, and Meninga has indicated to Tennant that he'll be kicking for goal. He's 40 metres out. He's almost in front. There's a slight breeze blowing. It's more or less coming across the ground. It'll be blowing from the camera side of the ground into the grandstand area across this flight of the Meninga attempted penalty. 40 metres out, almost directly in front for Mal Meninga, who's posted 132 points in Test match football coming into this game today. 7 tries, 54 goals, and certainly one of the biggest and best centre three-quarters Australia has produced.
Well, the game's been in motion a couple of minutes, and he's given 2 penalties for 5 yards. I think he took all game last time they met to dish those penalties out. Let's hope he keeps it.
Meninga's kick is high, it's long, it looks okay, but it's just away. Just away to the left-hand side of the uprights. The big crowd applaud Meninga by doing them a favour and missing it. And so it comes out now for the restart from the 22. Williams with quite a big drop kick, although it's sitting up there in that breeze that's blowing across the ground, and taking it back was the kicker Meninga. Pulled down by Tony Kemp initially. Coming in was Stewart and also Mercer. This is Clyde losing the ball, and picking up the ball is Kemp for New Zealand. As Williams came into the back line, he got a very ordinary pass away. He was more concerned about Lewis's defence than trying to give the pass correctly to Cooper. Mann does a little bit of dummying at dummy half before picking up Stewart, and Stewart has tackled 8 metres his side of the halfway. Through 2 sets of hands, it's come to Captain McGahn. Roach went over the top, Sirinen went underneath. No score on the board in the second test match, no marker. McGahn takes it over halfway, and he's met by Roach and by Sirinen once more. They're just into the Australian side of play as Freeman gets across the ground, working across the ground, putting a shallow kick in behind the three-quarters, who were up very flat, and eventually it's left to the fullback, Gary Belcher, to clean up for Australia. Play just outside the 22-metre mark, and it's to be played by Dale Shearer. Kerrod Walters a dummy half. Roach takes it up, first player off the dummy half. Very simple stuff. They'll work it down the ground to approximately the 40-metre line, I would think, before Lewis will be asked to clear. This is Bacco. Around the legs was Goulding. Coming over the top was Stewart together with Mann. Mann got his place in this side through a very good performance at Palmerston North, apparently. Alexander got cuffed over the chin area. A wild pass by Australia. Freeman, oh, he's bombed a certain try. Well, the goal line was only about 3 metres away. He got a very favourable bounce, Gary Freeman. He seemed certain to score, but then the ball came from his grasp. A knock on and a scrum to go down right in front of the Australian goalpost.
This scrum to pack now. Wild pass from Big Sam. Dangerous stuff, and maybe shades of Campese yesterday in the Union Test. Watched here, of course, by all the Australians. Okay, the Australians on the attack inside their danger zone. The 22 as Hancock gets bustled back with some big defence from the Kiwis. Oh, big push. Big push from the Kiwis, and the crowd love that. Jack Gibson, a lot of commitment in this side this afternoon.
Well, they got him in reverse gear that time and took him 15 yards the wrong way.
Bacco works play out about 18 metres out. Still in the 22, though. And they need to move it here. Walters stuttering around, looks to unload, can't. McGahn smothers him over the top. Man around him also. Busy player, this man. Gorton with a new hairstyle. A lot of the Australians have gone short hairstyles over here. Gets the ball well out of it. Freeman, who made that great little break, cleans it up. Takes a step. Forward, gets ducked heavily. Big tackle there from Sirinen. Meninga there to back up. Now the Kiwis bring it back. Well, this is Gary Mercer out on the wing this afternoon for the Kiwis, looking for the runners. Now they get it through Tony Iro. A little break from Iro too. Tries to unload, turns, now gets it away to Kevin Iro, his brother. He's slammed down though. Vorton over the top. Tony Iro dummy half. Gets it out to Freeman now. They're looking to link up. That's Cooper. Long pass over the top. They get it on to Kemp. Kemp run down though. The Kiwis are starting to run onto the ball. They look a lot better than they did at Christchurch. Certainly running harder onto the ball than they did last week. As Sammy Stewart takes it up and kicks out a 1 and makes a good 3 or 4. Now they're playing a lot better football, the Kiwis, but this time the Australians wave back again, so a chance for the Kiwis here. Right on the 22 and maybe about 15, 18 metres off centre. So not a difficult chance, Jack Gibson.
He's on the 22-metre line. But I'll say in that last passage of play, Sirinen certainly come up with a great shot in their halfback. I think it's shortened his career. a little bit. He got his full 16, 17 stone into him.
Evan, will take this shot of goal. Not a difficult kick. Very little wind to talk about here this afternoon. The breeze pretty well calm. And maybe 15, 16 metres off centre, right on the 22. And the Kiwis a chance to put first points on the board. There it goes. Well, it's a horror of a kick, let me tell you. Terrible kick. Oh, and a fumble from Australia. Drew Hancock, a quick ball up. And again, fumbly, scrambly football. A dreadful kick. Hancock came in and couldn't handle it.
In bad shape here, Australia. They're 10 metres out, and it's a Kiwi feed. So they've got to defend, see what they can do.
Right, this scrum packed down about 10 metres out. Kiwi ball. Freeman dancing round on the open side of the scrum. Brought down, though. Now they clear it out very quickly. Brendan Tudor, plenty of attention from the Australians on Tudor. Vorton, the first tackler, backer over the top. This is Mann now. Clears it out quickly to Cooper. Cooper has a little stumble. They come to meet him, though. And they're about 5, 6 metres out. He creeps a couple there. He looks for Sammy Stewart. Sammy Stewart turns his back. That's the line you can see. The red stripes, that's the area they're trying to put the ball down into as Stewart plays it back. Out it comes to Freeman, the little chip kick. The ball goes loose. It's picked up by Illo. No, it's Kemp. He follows it through. Meninga dives down on it with Bacco, though, so Australia breathe a little easier now. A lot of pressure coming from New Zealand at this moment.
I'll say number 7, Alexander's there, run into a collision. He's not too healthy, but he's got up and gone back. But they've got to play defence again for the next half a dozen tackles.
Well, the Australians will clear from under the post. Lewis will take the kick. And at the moment, the Kiwis have had all the territorial advantage, no doubt about that. Lewis looking for plenty of distance, and it's not a bad kick either. Goes well over the halfway line and picked up about 32 metres out, so that's a big kick as Tony Illo now brings it back to the halfway line. They meet him there, but he is into Australian territory by, say, 2 or 3 metres. Out they come through Todd. Mann, a dummy half, spins it back inside to Freeman. Freeman to Cooper. Cooper on to Iro. Iro, though, wrapped up right on Mike Cleary's side. Mike, this game already pressure from the Kiwis.
Yeah, well, the Great Britain referee is standing both sides back, and of course New Zealand are thriving with the extra space. They've got confidence, and Australia's a little bit tentative at the moment.
No doubt about that, as the ball played back still in Australia's territory. Freeman, a little chip kick over the top. Belcher comes up to meet it. A loose ball. The Australians dived on it, couldn't get it. It's a Kiwi ball. 6 to go, the referee says. So they're back on the attack and near the danger zone now. Up they go. Oh, Brendan Tudor with a hard, tough run. 4 or 5 pretty heavy metres there he takes. This is Goulding now. Goulding bet by the Australians, 10 metres out. And still going, Goulding. He's allowed to stand. They wind up and they're very, very close. Very close. Todd quickly plays it back. It goes to Freeman, onto Cooper. Plenty of boat running round. But Williams taken hard, 10 metres out. They're back where they started, so good defence from Australia.
Great tackle, Vorton.
Certainly was. Freeman, another little kick. He's doing a langer here this afternoon. Freeman putting those little grubber kicks in.
It's a good play by the referee then. He let the play, let him stand up, and the defensive players wrestle with him. He never called the ball held. And they got some more momentum and nearly made a try out of it.
It was a super tackle by Paul Vorton. He had Williams coming at him at top speed. He met him. He stood him up head on. And Williams was sunk by a tremendous tackle by Paul Vorton. This is Roach now. He's 30 metres out from the Australian line. They've withstood plenty of pressure, the Australians. Bacco making another incisive run for Australia. He's contributed a couple of those runs in the early minutes of this game. Walters away to Lewis. Lewis looks around for Belcher. Belcher tries to splice through. But this defence is keen from New Zealand. Why wouldn't it be? This is sudden death football, really, for them today. A loss shuts down the series, really. Here's Vorton now, midway between 22 and halfway on his end of the ground. No score, and we've come past the 10-minute marker. Roach goes ahead, pulled down by Todd, and also Tuta. Walters working it right for Lewis to kick, and it's a deep kick from Lewis. Just going back to that line dropout of his earlier on, it indicates to me that this breeze is behind Australia. in the first half more strongly than was first thought, because his drop kick was about 60 metres. So now New Zealand have the football, but they're way back on their own line, and Walters almost giving a penalty by striking prematurely. And to play the ball now in front of his own uprights was Tony Iro, easily the biggest player in the Kiwi team. This is his wing colleague Mercer, and Mercer, one of only 2 players to play domestically here in this entire New Zealand outfit. Mann the other. Mann, talking of him, has gone to dummy half, but it's a penalty, and New Zealand will have the pressure taken from them by this kick that'll find touch probably around about 35 metres out.
Well, I can't work out what that penalty was for. He throws the arm of the referee through the fist. I don't know what that meant. It maybe threw a punch in the tackle. Did you work it out, Darryl?
Well, Jack, no, I find his signals sometimes a little hard to understand. Blake Cleary on the sideline.
Yes, he's down from Bobby Fulton to Belcher to stand a little bit closer and shorter. He wants him up more in the play so those kicks can be picked up quickly.
So there's the knock on by New Zealand. Australia coming up with the football about 8 metres into New Zealand's area. They're getting a penalty here. Well, that was almost a professional foul by New Zealand because their defensive pattern wasn't organised, and Australia would have dead set thrown the ball wide on that first tackle, trying to get that defence whilst it was at 6s and 7s. Lewis finds touch now for the tap to be taken by Walters on the New Zealand 22 line. Yes, Freeman has got the kick in behind the three-quarters, standing shallow, so it would be wise for Belcher to stand up a little bit shallower because they haven't been using a sweeper. The dummy half is Walters. He works open side, a rehearsed play with Roach, and Roach is going to play it again back to Walters. Again, a dummy to the blind side for a second big man to come open side. And it's Sirinen who's tackled, only about 6 metres out from the New Zealand line. There's a chance here for the green and gold, and Lewis works his play with Belcher. Belcher gets the ball away, and the referee Tennant says held up in goal. It'll be a 5-metre scrum. Kieran Walters got the football over the line, but he was held up, and a 5-metre scrum is to be packed. Freeman to work it. Here's the incident on replay. And referee Tennant ruling that he was held up. Well, he certainly wasn't held up. And New Zealand coming up with the football, but here's the 5-metre scrum, which is the right way to rule on a player unable to grasp the ball in the in-goal. Coming away with it is Kemp from dummy half. He got away from Bradley Clyde. He was met by Roach, and he'll play the ball about 15 metres out. Kemp goes himself. He gets outside the 22, but referee Tennant is going to pack a scrum. He picked up a knock-on, and Australia will have the feed here, so a very good opportunity again for them. Alexander to work it. Backo with the loose head. Clean ball out the back. Alexander gets a one-handed pass away, a sloppy one, picked up, and New Zealand have come up with the football. Well, Australia are certainly coughing up the ball more than enough. They're not paying enough respect to the football and the possession of it. And now it's being played by Mann, the hooker, away for Freeman. He dummies to Todd. It's gone out to Stewart. Stewart wrestled to the ground, and I see Tony Kemp in the back play there, just getting some attention.
Well, the Kiwis now on their own 22 and running the ball out. Australia certainly coughing up plenty of possession, but the Kiwis playing with a lot more determination than we saw at Christchurch. There's no doubt about that. This is Goulding now. Goulding comes up. Lewis wraps him up, holds him there, ball and all. And they're 32 metres out, a bit of push and shove in that play the ball. It comes on to Todd. Todd goes hard. The Australians beat him just as effectively, though. They're working their way down to the halfway line now. It goes to Williams. He airs the ball. Back it comes. Hancock is there, but Belcher will take it. Wearing that thigh guard again. He gets it on to Hancock. Hancock with a little stuttering run. Out of one, out of two, but they come back and get him. Belcher goes to dummy half. The Australians now just outside their 22 as Meninga takes it. He winds up, and oh, a big how you're going from Meninga. Oh, the big fella puts a big don't argue out, but they get him. Now it goes on to Vaughton. Vaughton winds up, crashes another 5 or 6. Walters at dummy half. Comes out for Roach. The big fella turns it back inside to his Balmain teammate in Sirinen. Now they're looking to unload it. Alexander gets it on to Lewis. Lewis quickly out to Belcher. A little bit of room to move here. Belcher now gets the ball bouncing down the field. Will it find touch? Rolling around. but no, just a little bit too big. But by gee, wasn't a bad-looking kick. The Australians pouring through. There were plenty of chasers on it, but just a little deep. Well, I thought they might have run the ball in, Jack. They certainly had support our side.
Well, there's nearly a chance gone. He nearly got to that ball, that winger. He took the odds of going out, and that's exactly what happened. But I thought it was a fairly good play.
Little knock on there. Pretty scrappy play then from the Kiwis as this scrum packs down on the 22. The Australians feed, so they'll get the ball back. Alexander goes from the base of the scrum. He gets it out to Lewis. Lewis dancing around, gets it back to Vaughton. Vaughton trying to unload and does so too. Turns it for Curry. Curry gets it on to Shearer. Shearer had a great game at Carlaw Park against Auckland the other night. By gee, played well. Walters now, dummy half. The Australians go through Sirinen. Sirinen almost through too, but this time they meet him and bring him out about 12 metres out from the line. The Australians on the attack. This is Alexander. Good ball up now for Vaughton. Vaughton can't unload though. Too much defence. Walters, Lewis. Lewis back to Walters. Bradley Clyde loses the ball. Clyde, he appeals for that. The referee says no, we'll pack a scrum. And Clyde not at all happy with that.
Well, he seemed to get stripped of the ball when he went to get up the play. That didn't. It's gone New Zealand's way on their feed.
Well, the Kiwis come up with the ball, and a very interested spectator sitting in Brisbane, Australia, is Graham Lowe, the new Manly coach, of course, that took the New Zealand side to such great heights. Graham, what do you think so far?
Well, I think New Zealand's shown a far more positive approach, especially in their defence at this stage, Daryl. They're tackling around the legs, and also it's quite significant to note that Australia has only really got down onto New Zealand's goal line through kicking. They haven't been able to make the incisive runs that they were able to make last week. So it all looks well through my eyes at the moment, anyway, Daryl.
Well, they're certainly playing a lot more commitment. We'll come back to you in Brisbane throughout the match. Thank you, Graham. Nice to have you aboard. This is Lewis now. Lewis inside the 22 is Lewis. Alexander at dummy half. Okay, Vaughton now. Can the Australians get some points on the board? This is Belcher. With this defence from the Kiwis at the moment, it's a black and white wall they're running at. It's everywhere, smothering defence. Australia just running around in circles, trying to get that break. This is Bacco. And they're inside the 22, but they need to score some points. That man has been over the line, but couldn't get the ball down cleanly. Sirinen has a lunge and gets another couple of metres. 20 minutes into this game as Lewis winds up, and they bring him down, heavily marked today, Wally Lewis. But a penalty to Australia there with a swinging arm, so this one is a sitter. This is a sitter, and Lewis is hurt.
Well, they got a penalty out of this. I'm not quite sure what it was for. Naturally, it's a high shot. We'll watch it on replay.
Well, here's Lewis now running in. Now, watch for the loose arm. Down he goes.
No, that looked clean. I thought the penalty was for inside the 5 metres.
Well, we couldn't really see. We might see on this angle, Jack. Here's Lewis now running at the camera. Well, that shot... Hard to see there.
Play.
Looked like a fair play. Mal Meninga. Dead set in front, could spin it over from there. There it goes. 2 points for Australia. So finally we have points on the board here. Australia leading New Zealand 2 points to 0.
Cinema Verite. Is it dead?
Richard.
Today in the...
He's got us by the John. He's squeezing us out. What's the doing now? He's selling it under $1,500 a unit. Fully featured and installed? Yep. He'll screw himself into the ground. Not the way they're selling, mate. Weird.
The new Motorola car phone from Nomad Communications at $1,495. We swear you won't find a better deal.
How would you like to add value and beauty to your home and never have to paint again? Then call RBP Master Builders now for an over-the-phone materials quote on solid vinyl weatherboards. They're guaranteed maintenance free for 50 years.
Our lines are now clear. Call RBP right now.
At the end of the day,
Which not-so-squeezy truck supplies you with a perfect mix of power, strength and reliability? Mitsubishi Canter. It commands respect.
So the scrum to form down on the Australian 22 as some of our viewers rejoin us. 2-0 in favour of Australia, a penalty goal to Meninga, and Australia losing possession, knocking on, and here's this scrum to restart the play again, back on the Australian 22. Telecast coming to you on Wide World of Sports as it comes away from Cooper, a long, perfectly directed pass to Kemp, who let a decoy runner go before going himself. He plays it back to Ero. Ero towards the 22-metre line. He's met by Vaughton and Meninga. Vaughton has been very busy, and just that one tackle that he made earlier on certainly saved a try. From Freeman to Cooper, now to Stewart. Stewart out very, very wide. Wrestled to the ground by Alexander. About 15 metres out from the line. Played by Stewart back to Cooper. Cooper away to Mann. Chunky little fellow. And a penalty goes to New Zealand. Swinging arm against Australia. He's got Steve Roach. Roach looking at referee Tennant as if to say, what have I done? But Tennant again indicates the swinging arm went in from Roach. It went over the top of his head. It's just as well the little fellow was built close to the ground, because the shot by Roach just clipped the top of the crew cut. And it'll be an ideal opportunity here for Kevin Ero to level the scores at 2 points all as we come towards the 22nd minute of the first half.
Certainly a wide shot by Roach, who never got near the green and finished in the bunker, but they're going to surrender 2 points for it.
Ero taking a deep breath and now getting his foot to it, but he's missed it. Well, Ero's had 2 golden opportunities. Both of them have gone astray, and they are points you can ill afford to miss. New Zealand should certainly have been on the board to the tune of 4 points at this moment, but Ero is sadly offline with his kicking, and the 22 drop kick by Wally Lewis sailing down towards the 32-metre mark. New Zealand's end of the ground. A little bit of a juggle there by Williams.
Ray, I've noticed that Greg Alexander is not well. He got hurt when in that Roach incident. He's been stumbling around in the back play for a while.
So it's with Mercer. Played by him back to Mann, and then on the blind side to Todd. This is McGahn. McGahn picked up by Meninga. He was heading groundwards, but then Meninga put him down gently. Freeman, Cooper, Kemp. Kemp, who's had quite a strong game. He's into an opening. He's running into space. He's down to the 32. Oh, the pass has gone over the shoulder of Kevin Ero. So it's play on. And Bradley Clyde will play it now on the Australian 32, but Kemp found himself in a yawning gap. Just as I was about to say, he's having quite a strong game, the Newcastle Knight. And here's a penalty going to the New Zealanders.
That penalty was, the Australians made no effort to get back on side while he played the ball. 2 of them just stood there and blocked out the dummy half marker.
Referee Tennant having a busy game, there's no question about that. He's just been asked the question by Wally Lewis.
Well, I think it was a fair call.
The millionaire referee from the north of England. As the touch finder will see the tap taken just 15 metres out from the Australian line. Taking it up and getting it away was Todd. It's come out through the halves and gone to McGahn. McGahn reeling out of a tackle. He's pulled down about 11 metres out. The tackler was Brad Clyde. Away from Mann to Cooper, now to Goulding. Oh, a very big shoulder charge by Lewis. Goulding's head rocked back on the shoulders. He's getting up to play the ball, though, James Goulding. It's come away from Mann to Cooper to Freeman. Freeman tries to step off the left foot. Alexander reads him and puts him to ground. About 8 metres out from the line, a chance here for the home side, playing before about 17,000 of their supporters, and here's Mann about to play the ball back to Brent Todd. Todd out with Freeman, cuts out Tutor, goes to Cooper, he cuts out Williams, gives it to Ero, and Lewis coming up, sweating on Ero, putting him to ground. Had a good game at Christchurch, Ero. And Lewis has been sweating on him together with Meninga. Here's Freeman getting that grubber kick in behind the Australians. It's gone in touch in goal, but it may have come off the hands of the Australian. It'll be a line dropout. That's the way he's ruled, referee Ray Tennant. Line dropout, so the New Zealanders will come up with it on a fresh set of 6.
Well, late, there's nothing about the pressure the Australians have had to endure in this half. The Kiwis have had all the territorial advantage, and they've certainly been putting some pressure on, and they've been unlucky. They've been kicking badly, Jack, and they've thrown away some good breaking points.
Well, this time last game of the first test, Australia 15 in front.
No doubt about that.
They're 2 in front, and they're doing it tough.
Okay, Lewis again. He got 60 metres out of the last one. This one's not quite as big. It almost gets back to the halfway line, though. Brought back by Kemp, centre field, midway between the quarter and the half. Australia's end of the ground. Now the runners come through. This is Tuta. Tuta better listen to this crowd. They love the baby-faced assassin. Lewis is pushed away by Mann. An Australian player down. It looks like Borton. Borton has got a sore shoulder. He's hanging on there.
Tuta got a shot on Thornton when he went in. Nothing illegal about it. I saw he run into that knee again. Same thing. He's not doing it.
Well, Borton hasn't moved. The Australian trainer is onto him now, but it's a Kiwi ball. Let's keep with this at the moment because they're putting a lot of pressure on as the Australian player Borton still down. Final tackle for the Kiwis. Back it comes from Mercer through Mann, then on to Freeman. Freeman stabs the ball again. But the Australians pick it up through Shearer. Shearer brings it back. He's wrapped up by Freeman. Mann in there to lend some support. So the new player, Mann, the hooker, doing a lot of work this afternoon. Borton looking very groggy, but the Australian trainer still working on him. This is Backo working it outside, 32 metres out from their line. Waller's a dummy half. Borton groggy, does not know where he is. Disneyland is where he is at the moment. Paul Borton, very groggy after a big hit from Tuta that was quite legal, as Jack Gibson summed up. Now a big ball back from the Australians. William chasing it back. It's in his in-goal area. Stumbles and almost runs it too far. Brings it back 5, 6, 7. Goes to hand it off, but doesn't.
Borton just collapsed back down the field, Darryl. The trainer was trying to walk him, but he collapsed.
Borton in all sorts of trouble. The ambulance men are coming out for him. But we'll stay with us at the moment. There's Australians down everywhere. This Kiwi attack has got a lot of strength in it. Borton now coming back, though, to running back on side. Well, that's a very courageous effort from Paul Borton because he was dead set in Disneyland there for some time. Right, the Kiwis now working the ball out to the 22. They're into the ground. There's Paul Borton.
He certainly stopped one, but his courage has never been in question.
No doubt about that, Jack. Okay, Mann now gets it out for the clearing kick. McGahn boots it downfield. Belcher takes it just outside the 22. He's 32, 42 out now, heading for the halfway line. That's a better run from Belcher. Just inside their own halfway. Out for Curry. Mike Cleary over on the sideline has talked to the trainer about Borton's problem.
He's quite all right, mate. Yes, he is. He's a pretty...
Mike Cleary?
He's a pretty tough bugger, fatty fed him.
Well, Mike Cleary there saying that he's A-OK. The trainer says he's all right. So we'll come back with the action now. And this now, a quick ball out for Meninga. Meninga stumbling around, makes another 4 or 5. The Australians don't look settled. That'll be a scrum. And the Kiwis padding each other up. They're revving each other up all the time, Ray Warren.
Yeah, I'm just a bit concerned about the number of times we've given the football back to them. I'm pretty sure it'll be concerning Jack, too.
Well, what I see here, I don't think Australia, maybe on one occasion, they've worked out their 6 plays. They're surrendering that ball very early in proceedings.
So the scrum is to go down about 10 metres into New Zealand territory. An amazing recovery by Borton. As New Zealand win the scrum, they work a switch, a chance for Australia if they can come up with the football, but they can't. Williams knocked on as they tried to turn the attack from the open side to the blind. And again, we find one of these teams turning the ball over on an early tackle. It wouldn't be pleasing either coach as Alexander gets it to Lewis. The run around is there for Belcher to make the extras. He juggled it a couple of times, and that took the sting out of the attack. And he'll play the ball 12 metres into New Zealand's area as it goes to the right for Hancock, folding around from the left wing. And Michael Hancock, midway 22 halfway, plays the ball. Scoreline 2-0 in favour of Australia as Lewis swings it out wide. Tony Curry's with the football. Now it's Mal Meninga who's folded around to that left wing when Hancock went way across the ground. Hancock's coming back to his position now. Meninga playing it back to Curry. Borton takes it ahead. And he's made a run of about 5 metres, taking play about 15 metres out from the NZ's line. Away from Walters to Lewis. He hands it off, and Batno can't handle. And coming away with the ball is Williams for New Zealand. And he's put down about 5 metres out from his own line. So again, we offer possession back to the New Zealanders. Here's Kemp out in the centres, looking for a hole out there. He's had a very strong day. He plays the ball ahead. Referee Tennant says play on, no marker. And they're well outside the 22 now. Good ground made by Kemp. Away now for Todd. Todd goes up towards the 32-metre line. Walters was the first player up to him. Away now for Freeman. Freeman looking to kick and then feigning the kick and deciding to take the tackle. About 35 metres out from his own line. On tackle number 5, the kick coming from Cooper. Cooper keeping it along the ground. It's bounced up favourably for Dale Shearer. A little bit of space for Shearer to work in, but the defence was there. And referee Tennant has given the Australians a penalty, and it's against a high tackle by one of the New Zealanders involved, indicating where he wants the tackle region to be is referee Ray Tennant, and he's got, it would seem, Kemp for a high tackle. And coming over is Walters to take the tap.
I think the referee's had a little coaching through the week, because he certainly blows the whistle inside the 5, and he blows it for the high shot.
Roach plays the ball. Sorry, Jack. Away to Clyde. Clyde pulled down around the bootlaces by McGahn. Over the top was Goulding together with Stewart. Walters is the ruck half. Out for Lewis across the ground, turning it back inside for Sirinen. Just looking for a hole to appear behind the play the ball. Sirinen was found to be more effective last weekend, though running a fraction wider. It's gone out from Alexander to Belcher. Belcher puts a kick in. It's come down with Mann. He's ruled it was a charge down. No knock on. Mann, taken by Curry, gets the ball away. That'll be a knock on now. And a scrum will go down 32 metres out from the Australian line. Well, he's ruled that Mann actually charged the ball down, rising off the boot of a player. I didn't quite see it that way, but I didn't have a very good view of it. That was his ruling. His indication was spot on. And this hooker, Dwayne Mann, made a long run before Curry rounded him up. And Australia have now got the football 32 metres out from their own line. Dummy half is Belcher, waiting for Lewis to play it. 2 points to nil in favour of the green and golds. This is Vaughton. Lewis to the right. Backo wants a run off the ruck. There he is with it now, Sam. And met by Todd. Also McGahn. And these New Zealanders, they've remained committed. Last weekend, of course, when Australia cracked them and went to 8 points to nil, or 8 points to 2 it might have been. The floodgates opened for the latter part of that first half, but the New Zealanders have stayed committed, both in attack and defence, and now referee Tennant going to put a scrum down, an Australian feed, about 10 metres on the Australian side of halfway. It's with Alexander. Now Lewis cuts out Curry, picks up Belcher, crosses 32, goes across the ground, gives it to Meninga. Meninga runs straight into Cooper. Cooper did very well. It's not something that I would envy, taking Mal Meninga head on, but Cooper did the job, got the work done. Here's Bradley Clyde, 10 metres on his side of halfway, and we're fast approaching the half-time break. Lewis cuts out Backo, picks up Meninga, then it goes to Curry. He's put it down. Well, a chain of Australia putting the ball down, not really contesting the situation to its nth degree.
The ball seems to be travelling cross field, but the runner's running parallels, and there's no one to straighten this thing up.
Okay, Kiwi ball now deep inside Australia's territory. In fact, midway between the half and the quarter line. The black and whites back on the attack again. And this is Tuta. He really gets a rev from the crowd every time he handles. He's had so much publicity throughout the week. Now it comes out to Freeman. Freeman gets it on the McGahn. A little thick ground for Freeman again. He stopped dead right on the 22. Inside, deep inside the 22 now. This is Mercer playing the ball back to Mann. Mann will come out there nice and deep, the Kiwis. Cooper, this is a reverse move. He's put the kick up. Kemp comes through. Belcher takes it, though. About 2 metres out from the line, and Belcher hurt. A little slow to get up. Fell with a pretty awkward angle then. Slow to get up to play the ball. Hancock has a dancing little run, but too much defence there to meet him. Mike Cleary, interesting to see your comments of why the Australians are dropping the ball so much. A lot of it's your side of the ground.
Well, you'll notice through play, Shearer's got his hands up. The sun's very low and causing havoc over this side of the field for the outside centre and winger, and it's really blinding them. It's pretty heavy going over here.
Comments from the former dual international, Mike Cleary, as Roach brings it up, still inside the 22. Looking for Bradley Clyde, but it's Lewis that takes it. He puts the ball in the air. Long raking kick right down into the 22 area. Darryl Williams takes it nicely, though. He's got Tony Ino in support, but Ino ran away, so Williams took the tackle. Now, the Australians need to keep the Kiwis down this end of the ground if possible. As Tony Ino brings it out, he gets it to Kevin. Kevin with a little handoff, flicks the ball back inside to Tony. He's wrapped up. Just manages to stay in the field of play, though, which was a pretty good effort considering a bit of push and shove between Mann and Backo. Nothing in that, though. Goes to Freeman, out to Cooper. Cooper rounded up by the Australians, ringed in fact. And this ground a little loose underfoot. We mentioned at the top of the show, it looks in great condition, but it is a little slippery. Now Freeman. And this time the Kiwis put it down through top. So the scrum will pack midway between the quarter and half, the Kiwi end of the ground. And there's no doubt about it, this crowd support is certainly urging them on. Right, the scrum to pack now, Australian ball. They're in good shape if they can just keep it for the 6. Here's Lewis, turns it inside, another loose pass. It comes back to Sirinen. Sirinen winds up. They're 32 out now. Walters gets it on to Backo. Backo winds up. He flicks one out the back door. It's loose again, and Kemp again has picked it up. Well, the ball just going down, and Kemp has come up with so many loose balls, Jack Gibson.
Well, it's more exciting watching Beatles wrestle. They just push the ball down every second or third play. They must have had 15 scrums in the thing.
Well, certainly the slick performance of Australia in the first test. They went down to Auckland, not this test side that we're watching now, but the New Zealand side is definitely playing a style very similar to the style that Auckland played on Wednesday night, and it's busting the Australians. They're just having trouble at the moment. Another loose ball, picked up through Hancock. Hancock winds up, he's out of 1. He gets out of 2, out of 3, Hancock. Good strong run. Belted down now, though, midway between the half and the quarter. Walters goes himself from dummy half and makes 3 or 4, turn to unload, but nobody close enough, so took the tackle. Wally Lewis giving signals just quietly there, and now it comes out for Sirinen. Sirinen winds up, almost gets through. He's got a runner with him. It's Alexander, flicks it back. A loose ball again, and a chance. Well went begging because Meninga was there. The pass went along the ground. Meninga couldn't pick it up, and the Kiwis have possession again through Ino. And that is the half-time hooter. So Australia leading New Zealand by a skinny margin of 2 points and a pretty committed area of play.